All right, let's look at how to spoof email messages. Now, this is assuming you can, because a lot of times if you have some provider, your provider might block you sending email messages because they don't want you to be a spammer. And there are other situations where certain machines are not allowed to send them, but let's assume you can. All right, so now I have a machine and I'm on a server.example.com. I want to send a spam message to root@example.com. So I have to first figure out, how do I connect to it? Well, I want to use the Telnet program, so I can do an apt install Telnet. Make sure Telnet's on there. Telnet's a great tool. It allows you to do terminal emulation and talk to things. And there are some older protocols that you can talk to directly, which are kind of nice. All right, so now which machine do I talk to? Who receives mail for example.com? I can do a dig -t for type mx for mail exchanger, and I want example.com. And I can see that in the answer section it says that example.com has a mail server called server.example.com with a priority 10. I want to pick the one with the lowest priority number, and that's the one I'm going to talk to. So I do telnet to server.example.com, port 25. So port 25 is your SMTP for your simple mail transfer protocol. All right. So then you get this response, this prompt, and you have to figure out, what am I supposed to do? Well, what you're supposed to do is identify yourself. So say hello with a single L, HELO, space, and then the name of your server. So I could call myself spammer.com, and it'll say server.example.com. So it recognizes who I am. It says, oh, you're actually server.example.com, but that's okay. It will keep track of that information and store it later in the header information of the mail message. All right. Now, next thing I want to do is I want to send or identify where the mail is from. So mail is from, well, it's from spambot at spammer.com. So spambot at spammer.com. It says, okay, great. I do rcpt2. Who am I sending it to? Well, I want to send it to root@example.com. Now, this is the actual address you're sending it to, not, you can have other addresses later, but this is where you're actually sending it to. And then you have this thing where it says, okay, and you type in data saying, okay, now I'm ready to put my message in here. So the first thing you start with is your header of your data. So you to, and in quotes you could say, I want to send it to Mr. Root. And then I tell the email address, and I could put the correct email address. I could put something different if I want. It doesn't really matter, because it's already been told where it's going. So I do root@example.com in the greater than less than brackets there. And then from, I can say, well, this is from, well, it's from Mr. Spam. And it's at a spammer at, well, oops, I guess I got it backwards, but that's okay. Spammer.com. And you can see this doesn't have to match up. And then my subject is, this is spam. All right, and then you have to have a blank line between the header and your actual message body. And then in my actual message body, I can say whatever I want to say. Say, hey, I hope you like spam. And then you end it with a single dot on a line by itself. So single dot. And then you type in quit, and it quits. All right. At this point, I can go in and verify and see if I received mail. So I type in Alpine for my mail client and I for looking at it. And then you can look at the message and you can see, oh, it's from Mr. Spam, spammer at spammer.com to Mr. to root, and there's a subject. All this information's here. And I can quit out of this because maybe I haven't learned how to look at the contents. And I can look at the actual file that was sent. So it's a var mail root. So right here, my root thing. And you can see right there, all the way from the from spam bot at spammer.com. So the from spam bot at spammer.com is what we put in the mail from portion of it. And you can see information about where it came from and the return path, which is basically what I identified as my, when I was sending the mail. And you can see which machine it is sent from. So you can see, well, it came from this 10.0.2.4, which is the machine I'm actually on. And it has usually a long list of all of the machines that it passes through on the way through. And so you can kind of work your way back and figure out where it came from and who sent it, assuming you can trust each part of it. So I quit out of that. And there you go. So nice mail message that looks perfectly authentic, and you have no way of knowing that wasn't actually spam, assuming you can actually send the spam. There you go.